Dogwoods are blooming throughout much of the Midwest, and that means it's turkey time.
GrowingDeer.tv is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops, also by Riconics, Trophy Rock, Muddy Outdoors, Non-Typical Wildlife Solution, Eagle Seed, Nikon, Winchester, Redneck Hunting Blind, Dead Downwind, Antler Dirt, Lacrosse Footwear, Scent Master, Blood Sport Arrows, Prime Bows by G5, and Outdoor Edge Knives.
Heath and Lindsay Martin from Arkansas are at it again. This time they've taken a little road trip and they're chasing turkeys in Kansas. They saw plenty of action during the early stage of their hunt, but mainly they were seeing jakes. Jakes seem to be everywhere. There must have been a tremendous hatch last year in southeastern Kansas. Heath believes the large amount of jakes have been harassing gobblers so much that gobblers are afraid to come in and work decoys. Finally, Heath and Lindsay heard a bunch of gobbling and decided to move in closer. They set up as close as they dare, and soon they were covered up with birds. Looks like a bunch of hens and even more jakes. Check out this footage Lindsay laid down. Looks like those hens really took a liking to Heath. This is all fun, but still no longbeards for Heath and Lindsay. The next morning, it's all gonna change. It's a chilly and windy morning, but Heath has a couple gobblers interested. Turns out a pair of hens are keeping these gobblers from coming in. Suddenly that changes, and here they come. This is pretty cool. If you'll notice, Heath had put a GoPro out by the decoys looking back at the blind. Watch as these birds brush right past that camera. He shoots the first bird and then hands his gun to Lindsay and takes the camera from her. Second tom swings around, and Lindsay hit the tom and the GoPro.
Yes! Yes!
You just shot the GoPro.
I just busted the camera.
Lindsay just shot a longbeard and the GoPro. We better go get them birds before they get away.
But I got a turkey and a GoPro.
Oh my gosh.
Here's the rest of my carnage. Maybe the GoPro survived, but I would think we're gonna need a new case.
What a great trip. Thanks Heath and Lindsay for taking time to share your hunt with the Growing Deer family. Turns out the super tough camera housing took the full force of the Winchester Longbeard XR, but the camera inside was no worse for the wear.
I think you got lucky.
Look all around.
You got lucky.
I mean, she looks so good.
A couple months ago, you saw AJ and I out scouting the southern part of the proving grounds and beginning our management project. So a couple weeks later, we came back, pulled a few soil samples, and began the process of transitioning these old logging pads into food plots. So today we're out taking another step in the process. We're gonna spray them, kill off all the vegetation, and get them ready for planting.
Glyphosate is the active ingredient in Roundup. It's a non-specific herbicide made to kill grasses and weeds. It's always important to eliminate any weed competition before you plant. Young seedlings, especially soybeans, can't compete with established weeds.
Well, it's been 2 weeks since we sprayed these food plots. You can see the glyphosate has killed them and turned them brown, and now we're one step closer to planting our spring food plots.
So I'm going to start with this to cut through the feathers, then switch to the gutting hook and talk about it being just as good, that way you don't get. Just as exciting to me about the actual turkey hunt is bringing home some great meat for my family. You know, of course, wild turkeys are as organic as they get. They're eating bugs and food plot crops and whatever. The meat is wonderful. But before I give it to Miss Tracy, I got to get it out of turkey. One of the trophies of a turkey is the beard, and I want to remove it without harming it or the meat. You simply just want to grab it by the base and put your hand right here and pull. And it comes out perfectly clean, ready to be put on the fireplace mantle. For removing the meat off a turkey or dressing a turkey, I really like the Outdoor Edge swing blade knife. It's called a swing blade because it has a regular blade on one end, and simply by changing, gives me a gut hook or a blade on the other end that has a dull point so I don't cut too deep. Breastbone's really easy to find, especially on a mature tom that's been losing a little weight. There's not much fat buildup. I simply just spread some feathers back and make a little incision. I'm simply going to take the gut hook in where I made a little hole in the skin, barely going in and pull up. And you can see there's not feathers flying everywhere because I'm not putting any pressure on feathers really. I'm going right above the crop now, but there's no danger of me sticking my knife in the crop. I'm simply turning my knife blade around and I'm going to go back the other way. In just a couple of strokes, exposes it all the way down to the end of the breast. Once I've made the long incision, I'm going to switch back to my normal blade so I can peel the skin back and expose the meat. Taking my sharp knife, just like I would a deer or anything else, and going right between the skin and the meat. There's very little blood in a turkey because the Creator didn't make them with much blood. Blood liquid is very heavy. Birds wouldn't be able to fly, so there's a lot less blood than if you were cleaning a deer. And you can see the breast is very clean with no feathers on the meat at all. One thing you might notice, there's no pellet marks in the breast. Don't have to tell your family to slow down and chew slow so they don't bust their tooth on a pellet. I shoot Winchester's Longbeard XR, and that shot is so tight that even at 35 yards, dead turkey, no damage to the meat.
What a difference.
After the skin is all pulled back, it's simply a matter of flaying the breast out along the breastbone. I simply go tight down the breastbone. I like to start at the back where the breastbone's not as wide. Makes it a little easier to save all that meat. Just like filleting a fish, I'm going right along that breastbone. This is the crop where they've stored the food they've eaten most recently, and I'm just filleting like a scalpel, going right along that, not cutting into it. And later we're looking to see what this turkey ate last night. Get this little bit of skin off right here. Couple of pounds of prime, natural turkey breast. Ready to clean it up and let Miss Tracy prepare supper. One step I always take right after I've removed the breast is see what's in the crop, because turkey season's still open and I want to see what they're eating so I'll know where to guide other hunters. You can tell we killed this turkey not long after fly down. He came straight from the tree to us because there's nothing in his crop. He had not had breakfast before he came to the call. Hope you have a chance to try this technique when you tag your next turkey. But whatever you're doing this week, slow down and take time to enjoy creation and listen to what the Creator is saying to you. Thanks for watching GrowingDeer.tv.
Well, you see, what am I going to say?
this, maybe a couple, but there's definitely one longbeard that's been using this in the afternoons, late in the evenings actually, mid-evening to afternoon, or afternoon to late evening, whatever you want to call it.